Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
My name is Andrew Lloyd. How are you?
I'm good. So usually I'm kind of changing things up a little bit because I'm starting a little series um, about kind of cancel culture, and it's been really weighing on my heart because not just
Yeah,
of recent events, but just in general. It's just been something that's been I did a project a year ago about cancel culture that is coming out this year, and it's
always
something that I think
working.
a lot of people are feeling. And if we've been in this situation for a while, like that, everybody has an opinion about something, and this opinion overrides this opinion, and they have feelings. And if this doesn't go, that way it doesn't work. So tell me, you're an actor, um, and a guy in this industry.
Right.
Have you experienced that at any
Mm.
point?
I don't think I've reached a high enough level to receive that kind of hate, if you will.
Mhm.
The thing that I usually tell people is that, and how I feel about cancel culture is when you when you operate in cancel culture, especially um, when you do it on the grounds of you just didn't like how someone acted, in a sense of, case in point, everyone's talking about the Will Smith slap, the infamous slap around the world. A lot of people are talking about canceling this man. And it's almost like in that moment, he had a mental lapse of judgment. That's like canceling a kid, saying you're not worthy of the attention you have because you lost your sense of grounding and your sense of moment and your sense of home training. If you, as like folks say in Alabama, you ain't got no home training. It's sad because that man, Will Smith for 30 years was premier black elite industry. People slandered this man for years, talked about him, down played him, his wife, his children. For him to literally smile, greet everyone with a smile, and continue to pump out consistent good work. And then the one time he loses it, everyone's like, oh, forget it. Let's take away his Oscar. Let's do this. Was he wrong? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But let's all remember empathy is the number one thing in cancel culture that makes you less human because you lack simply the knowledge to understand that person's plea. They can easily still be wrong and easily still be punished. But chanting the words, cancel this person, what you're trying to do is, when you do that, is you're trying to cancel out any revenue he brings in. That's basically taking away his livelihood. If
Yeah.
anyone was to take away your livelihood, you would come for their life.
Hmm.
So I just tell anyone, like, when you start doing things like cancel this person, really think about what would happen if it were you. And
Right. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I don't think people think about that. I think we live in a society
Yeah,
that people are so quick to judge and point the finger at a situation, and they don't even
yeah,
know the man. We only know what we know from what they've shared with us or what the media
yeah.
portrays. It's not the full truth. And don't
Right.
get me wrong, yes. I mean, it's just what was mind blowing to me is that people just kind of were like, let's just people who are fans of this man were like,
Like
I'm
24 hours
done.
prior, like, he's everything. And
And
then,
then it's like, I'm done with him. Like, how dare
right,
he's a bully? He beat this
right.
man on stage. I'm like, guys, choice of words does matter in the situation.
It
I mean,
really, really
and
does.
mainly it was people were like, I can't believe Denzel and Bradley Cooper consoled him at after his situation. I'm just like, no, we don't know what they said. Just because obviously this is like a mental breakdown. Did we witness someone break down?
and it's not, and I don't,
Or
I
snap.
would want to, yeah, I would want to be careful and say mental breakdown, because someone gets so angry that they literally, and in that moment, they see red, and we do it as regular people.
Right.
This man did it at the highest point of his career that he's worked tirelessly, mind you, for 35 years for this moment. And
Yeah.
in that moment, after, Gary Owen said it best when he explained to people, like, I'm friends with both. Definitely friends, but he says definitely more friends with Chris Rock, but he empathizes with Will because everyone slanders Jada consistently, and no one
Oh
knows
yeah.
what the conversations that she's personally dealing with
Right.
in their private life, in their home, in their bedroom, when he has to console her about what it felt like when she lost her hair. This is someone who, yes, she didn't have a lot of hair, but it was more of a choice thing. She did at a lot of points had big, fluffy, beautiful, curly, natural hair. And then when she chose to cut it, that low cut really kept her booked. It kept her working. That was a look for Jada that kept her paid up. Now she's also not bringing it in like Will. And as a woman, a lot of women like to claim that their hair is their crown.
Yeah.
And to lose that, like, you don't know what that does to someone who covets something like that so much. And to know that you can do nothing about it just wilting away on your head. I mean, in my father's genes, my hair started to, recede and thin at 23. I just got back to college, when and all this, and I had curls. And literally my dad had to call me, and he was like, I saw the picture. He was like, I get it. I lost mine at 23. It's just in our genes. Your hair thins. And, it was long, it was curly, but it would never be that again. And it's one of them things that I can't change that. She can't change what it was. And people have been relentless in not only judging, but attacking even more ferociously Will Smith and Jada now more than ever.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like,
And it's bizarre to witness to see people's like hate. And
yeah,
it's so it's like you don't, it's like one strike you're out. It's not three strikes. It's like one strike. And especially being an African American man, to have, you can't forget that. I mean, it does play a part. And people say, why do you bring that up? Well, it's something that
oh,
does
it's a
matter, and
thing.
it is a
There's
thing.
no
It still is a
uh,
thing.
as a as a black man, and I know a lot of people on your channel, if they see this, they don't know I am of mixed descent. Yes, and
Right, right.
but if you hear in my voice, if you were to see my father, you would understand completely. I mean, I've identified as black my entire life.
Mhm.
And when you're with a woman, especially a black women need to be protected, because people obviously, look at the masses, openly attack Jada about this situation. And then the thing that kills me the most is when they be like, why he didn't smack August like that. And I said, first of all, August
We
even said
don't know
it.
where
He had
August
a
was.
conversation with Will. Now, mind you, when everyone found out, Will even said that situation was 4 years prior to the
Right,
entanglement conversation. So
right.
there's plenty of growth that has happened since. And
Yeah,
to be honest, August probably not telling nobody. Will probably could have smacked the shit out of August. But
I'm pretty
Will,
sure.
as we know, Will is pretty tight-lipped on his personal stuff. And he's been that way. Even his mom was like, I've never seen him act like that. And, those, unfortunately, Will was a powder keg in that situation. And on top of the internet and the world openly, just for their amusement, defamation of character on this man who they don't know is really shitting on this man's life. And to be honest, you wouldn't do that to somebody on the street, especially
Right.
especially if you don't know them. And Will Smith, nobody expected him to smack him. And I'm like, he's a public figure that the world knows as the Fresh Prince, the nice guy. He smiles, he writes books, he reads the dictionary daily. Like he spits affirmations out, jewels every day, like clockwork. His children are the same way. His wife has a show about like the enlightenment that they have, and their family is in it. Like they constantly try to better themselves. And I mean, if you think about it, name one group of people or one individual that claims enlightenment or that they're reaching for enlightenment that someone doesn't want to tear down.
Right,
And
right, absolutely.
Right. And it's sad that he clearly had a misstep. Right. And we don't know if him and Chris Rock have any kind of beef. And if they don't, that's not our damn business.
Right. And society makes it seem like it's like the media plays this thing of like, okay, like I was talking to somebody, a producer friend of mine, he's in Toronto this morning, and he was saying, we kind of weighed in on about the Will Smith, and he sent me a picture. He goes, what in the Will Smith was that? And I said, well, again, we don't know Will. Again, these actors are paid to act. Do you really think we see the true them every day? We don't live with them. We don't know their story. We only know what they show us, a peek.
You have to understand, in order for them to keep, for actors, as an actor myself, you have to keep a piece of yourself untouched, untainted by the outside world. And what they're showing you isn't fake. It's really just what you need to see in order for them to keep moving normally. There's people who are talking bad about Will Smith who probably were arrested that same weekend for something way worse. You got women out here sleeping with, multiple men, lying, cheating, scandaling, or just, at the end of the day, robbing. But they make their business to hop on social media, especially if they got a big following, troll Will. Now, the biggest heartache for me was to see people like Jim Carrey all over this man.
That was crazy.
And Jim Carrey is one of my favorites from the Living Color days. 100%. My mom could tell you. I used to stay up late just to get the fire marshal bill from Jim Carrey. Let me say that something, all that stuff. And for him to immediately the next morning,
that's crazy.
The Oscars was at night. The next morning, bro, he got a whole new press set up at the house, or he even drove into the office. It was scheduled for him to have a conversation condemning this man who you've known for how many years. I'm pretty sure you met. I don't know if they hung out personally, but to slander this man on national TV, and then I'm pretty sure you have a reason to get in contact with him. And this is Jim Carrey, who talks about mental health all the time, didn't even reach out to this man
at all.
Just on the human tip to be like, hey, bro, I know it was rough. I know I'm a comedian, but are you okay? Because at the end of the day, y'all still a part of that fraternity of actors. I'm not saying kiss ass. Will up. He really
absolutely.
did.
Absolutely. And I know, and Will knows he did. And I think Will,
you can see it in the speech. And a lot of people be like, oh, it's fake. Do you know what it's like to slap somebody and to know that you fucked up a moment that you worked 35 years for? And all he could do for him in that moment is to stand and just process. And at the same time, accept it. Yes, he's accepting an award. But nobody stopped to care to see how he felt. Now, righteously so. Everyone's mad that everyone came to Will Smith's defense. Chris Rock, on the other hand,
handled it great.
Trooper.
Great
was an absolute trooper, because
I think because he also knows Will.
Exactly. Not because of the fact that he took it and he kept the show. We now bring up the fact that Chris Rock talks about like how he did a bully once, where somebody bullied him and he put a brick in his backpack and beat the dude. What
Right.
we got to pull back from that and also process is Will Packer, the producer of the show, got on air the next day as well and said, the minute Rock got off stage, he said, don't send them out here. Now, I have to believe that Chris Rock understood what that moment would be if he called the police. The fact that the police were there
That would have
and
been
ready to
a
arm
major,
escort Will, or if Will refused, that they would have detained him. And they know on national TV,
that wouldn't look good.
they was not gonna detain him in the nice way.
Yeah, that wouldn't look good. And that would make people think, yeah, well,
And I
okay,
applaud Chris
police.
Rock for handling that in a
Yeah, same.
much bigger way. Because if it would have been anybody else on the street, we know it, and people laugh. But I'm like, people have died for that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
And to be
100%.
honest, people in Chris Rock position have died for talking about somebody's wife. At the
That
end of the
part.
day, we got to understand some people really don't play about their family. Now, Will has let 20 years of you talking about his kids, his
Right.
wife, his family, and he has let it slide. But there was something about what Chris Rock said, how he looked, whatever that registered to Will, that caught something. Now, even
I think
beyond the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing,
mhm.
the cancel culture, it feeds that energy that Will Smith felt. And it feeds into the ideology of when everyone attacks this person for a mistake, it obviously was a mistake.
Of course. I mean, he said himself. I mean, he said he
Right.
started at the academy.
Yeah. And
And I
everyone's
think
mad
even
because,
Chris knew that was out
of
of Will's character,
course.
because if you know someone, quote unquote, and you've known them for that long and you work together, you have some 27 odd years of time between you. And I'm so sorry, but I
They've
don't
known each
believe
other
the
for
thing of
almost 30 years.
thank you. So I personally, and Chris Rock did a documentary about black hair and all this stuff. So I personally, as a black man, if I was Chris, I would not have said that particular joke to address the baldness of her hair because
Right.
who wants to be bald? I don't.
Hey,
She's never
hey,
had that kind of cut. You know what I'm saying? As a woman, she's
respectfully,
never
I
had
get it.
that kind of cut. Yeah, that low before. She's had low cuts, but she's
I
had hair
mean,
in her cuts. I've seen her. I've followed her. She's never had
right.
that short ever, and
Yeah.
that was just because there were patches.
Yeah.
Her hair was coming out, and I would follow her
Right.
vlog, and she talked about it, and
Right.
she laughed about it on a story, and it's just her way to process it and dealing with it. Of course, it's not cancer. People say, "Well, it's not cancer. It's not leukemia." I get it. I get it. But again,
And that's
what
disrespectful.
here it goes back to cancel culture, the things that
Yeah.
we're saying this is okay to be and not to be okay about. Well, if it's not cancer, then you shouldn't be mad about this. It's like, who's to say what is we should be upset
Yeah.
about, or the level of upset about something
Yeah.
that I'm going through?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And it kind of
Like,
then we're then now
yeah, that's like saying,
we
"Oh, I'm gonna go to work," but my mom's diagnosed with, she's in stage 5 renal failure. Oh yeah, well that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? You
right.
still should have been at work. I'm gonna want to smack it out of you too.
Right, exactly.
Come
You know what
on,
I'm saying? So there's
come
that.
on.
So then there's things that doesn't line up too, because then if that's the
Empathy.
case with there we go, empathy. If that's the case about Will, then there should be things about other people that things happen. Might not happen on a big scale on the Oscars, the most important night of
Night
the
of the world.
industry,
Yeah, it's a war going on,
prestigious
and
people.
everyone's giving all the energy to Will and Chris. There's literally a fucking war happening. I'm sorry, as
Exactly.
Black people, we need to understand what it's like a group of people being infringed upon their freedom and rights. Pay more
Right.
attention to that. The only reason why everyone's
Right.
talking about this Will Smith and Chris Rock thing is because no one's willing to let it the fuck go.
Thank
And I
you.
know
Thank
that's
you.
crazy for me to say it because I'm the one that paralleled it in this conversation, but I
No, but
used
this is
it.
good for cancel
Yeah,
culture. This is
yeah,
literally the epitome of what we're talking about, of
right.
what we should. It's like, okay, Hollywood,
We got to
or not
figure
just
that out.
Hollywood, the industry dictates how we think, feel, say, what we dress like, what we
Right,
should. I mean, it's like literally like, okay, so today, care about COVID. Okay, next month, we're going to have this. And so now this is the problem. This is the thing that you're going to care
right.
about, not what's still here, or the war that's happening. Let's not care about that, but let's care about a slap. And then it becomes, so that's what I'm saying. If that's what we're going to be going, is if this is what our world is leading to and going to,
Right.
then the rest of accountability for everyone who's messed up. Mel Gibson. I mean, Mel Gibson did an interview, and the guy asked him. I mean, the guy had the nerve to ask Mel Gibson, "What do you think about Will and Owen? Do you think that He's like, you're pretty much um know about being the bad guy." And Mel Gibson was like smiling nervously because he knows what can I say? My business was out there. I
Yeah, he was
almost
like,
beat
I
my
don't care.
wife
He's
to
like,
death.
you're not gonna catch me in this. And
Yeah.
that's a problem I personally feel. That's one thing of nobody cancels black people in this world quicker than black people. Period.
Thank you. That's another
Period.
problem
We got to be
with
better. We
our
do.
community.
And it's going to
How?
take time, but we got to be willing to work. We really got to do that work with us. I
Yes,
still
it
got to
starts
catch
with
myself and be
us.
like, yo, stop.
Mhm.
You gotta talk to yourself and be like, bro, stop. Like you knew you was out
Yeah,
of pocket for that. You gotta check in, man. And that
you
just
do.
goes into another mental health thing. We all have that problem. It's real easy to call out other people on their when
And
you
not your
doing
own.
bullshit yourself because it deflects the energy. And at the end of the day, we all been to church, especially if you black and from the South. Don't throw no stone. Because damn near
Absolutely.
everybody with social media, everybody lives in a glass house. You better quit playing.
Right.
You better
And that
quit
and that's
playing.
why and I think for me, that's what I've been noticing is that like people are saying, how can you have sympathy for someone who, I mean, I had my uncle, murdered my grandfather. Okay. And my uncles and aunts, they forgave him. That's the power of forgiveness. I mean, the guy didn't murder anybody, but it's not like we haven't ever seen anybody get slapped in a bar or beaten on the side of the street,
At
that
church,
actually,
funerals, yeah, things
you
happen.
know, things happen. So our thing is to, and like, even in the industry, the suicide rates are crazy. You're like, well, all these people have
Man.
money, fame, everything you could ever imagine and have. Well, why do they just take their own life? Because it's unhealthy, and it's a toxic. Like, we're in the industry breeds it.
It it's not,
It's
I don't think it's
sick.
necessarily the industry. It's people don't get it. All those comments. That man is listening to y'all bash him, his wife, and his children for 20 some years. What's the name of what is her name? The former Miss America or Universe?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
she committed, like,
Took her
come
own life.
on.
Took her
Y'all,
own
this is
life.
people who are making money, who are black people in the higher percentage of tax brackets, and we complain there's not enough of us. And literally the main reason that are driving us to go crazy is listening to the other
Right.
people who are not there, who are literally shitting on your life. And I don't
Right.
care what level you are, what tax bracket. No one likes people consistently talking shit about them. And the
At
fact
all.
that they make that much money does not give you free range to talk shit. Because I'll
Right.
guarantee you this, if they weren't at the Oscars and they were out in public and they smacked it out you just, oh my God, you won't want to be on TV. None of y'all want to be Chris Rock.
Of
All
course.
these comedians are now trying to come at Will, which I get it. They're defending Chris. But
I get it.
chances are, 9 times out of 10, at the end of the day, you don't know that man life. The one thing you know, he's from West Philly. You
Yeah.
catch anybody from the hood, bro, and you catch them in the street and you talk about their wife, they gonna knock the shit out you. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson, you wouldn't dare. You wouldn't dare do it. You wouldn't make no joke about his nobody daughter coming up missing around Mike Tyson because he ain't got her no more. He gonna be quiet and he gonna start crying. And then 5 minutes later, we're gonna be like, what happened to Drew? Mike Tyson fucking murdered him. Because you don't know
But
what they're dealing with.
absolutely.
And it's
100%.
it's our responsibility to us, not individually and our peers, to be empathetic. We're human.
Absolutely.
We
That's it. That's
are.
it. That's it.
Cancel culture, it breeds toxicity, and it's not
So
just
toxic.
and everyone loves to be like, oh, he's a toxic masculinity. Oh, it's toxic females too, boo. And they
Oh
trying
my
to
gosh, yes.
the same ones being like, oh, Will, oh, it's toxic masculinity. Y'all the same ones that tell a dude it's okay to smack me in the face. I want it. Please, daddy, give me some more. All these things matter. So be careful.
Yeah.
There's a balance to everything. And he has consistently gotten a barrage talk. And yeah, most of the people are talking to him about choices that his wife made when at the time he is clearly specifically
He
named that they
stated
weren't even
that they were
together.
not together. Exactly. Exactly. And people
And
keep
if they
saying
weren't together and he
that they were
was
together.
okay with August, we don't know what Jada had to deal with, what he was doing.
Absolutely. We don't know. And it's like,
We don't
again,
know.
there's two sides to every story. You know what I'm saying? There's two. And
And that's
and it
August's
go
fault, clearly.
and
It is.
it's also too, it's like you said the industry, you don't think it's the industry that's toxic. I think it is because it's the people in it. Yes. It's the people that control the narrative. I mean, but Hollywood was never actually meant. You have those crazy mindless shows that people watch, those
Oh yeah, all those.
House of Atlanta, Texas,
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm not getting in it, but what I'm saying is enough, whatever you digest and put inside of you, it's you're going to either
It
emulate, or you're going to
feeds.
become that. It feeds it. And then because the industry knows what they're doing, it's about money. It's not about your soul. It's not about your well-being. So
And
you
marketing
have
is
to
money.
marketing's money, and you have to control your what you put inside of you, your mind. Especially us as creators, we are in this business, and we have to always remember to disconnect and keep this mind and our spirit right and fed with the right things, because
Empathy.
it's that
We
too,
have to disconnect to keep that. If we're empathetic to people, that's what real people and real stories needs empathy. That's
Absolutely.
what make people feel. Like King Richard, what he was nominated for.
Fantastic
You
film.
can't you can't tell me that when even in the trailer when he hit you with that, you're literally about to do something like you about to represent every little black
Black
girl
girl.
in
Mhm.
America. That's a heavy weighted statement to tell your kid. But just
Yeah.
imagine being a dad who, even earlier in the film, he literally had to he was defending his daughter for some hood cats trying to push up on her and talk that slick stuff. And we know how that was gonna turn out. We can play that picture and be like, oh, maybe he wanted to take her out, be nice. Nah, bro. We come on. Come on.
Right.
You know what that is. Don't play with that. He was protecting his kid. And he easily could have fought. But what he wanted to do, he knew they could have killed him. So
Of
he took
course.
that ass whooping. But he did it
Yeah.
in defense. In defense. So I get what he meant, like a defender. But
Yeah, I get that.
what happened, nobody saw that because in his mind, that switch was flicked when Chris said that. When no, not even when Chris said it. When
I think
Jada
it when Jada looked at him, and he kind of and think about all the stuff that they're dealing with in their
dealing
marriage
with.
and the things that
And
they're
the
going
minute
through.
he saw it, and then
He
that's
was
the
like,
thing.
okay,
We saw
reaction.
that eye
Go.
roll. We
Yeah, we
saw that
did.
eye roll, but we went back to Chris Rock. We never saw what they
Will
what discussed. We
what
everyone
she
be like,
said.
oh, Jay, and what kills me, people love this narrative of Jada said, that's why I cheated, because you can't defend me. Like, come on, bro.
No, right.
Y'all slandering a black woman, and everybody love protect our black queens. Y'all
Be
are
the ones to sell us
100%
down the river.
dragging this lady. And to be
Yeah.
honest, she said not one word that we heard or saw. And yet there's no proof of her saying anything. And y'all are dragging this lady.
Yeah, they are.
For all we know, she said not one syllable. All
Mm-hmm.
she did was look. And that's
And
her
that was
damn
enough.
husband.
Yeah, it's her
What
husband.
the fuck do you think he's going to do? If I am married and I see my wife vexed
Clearly
by
hurt.
something
Right.
a man said, I can say a multitude of things. Now,
Yeah.
smacking them it really depends on where you are as
Where
an
you are.
individual in that moment. Was he
Mhm.
right about smacking Chris Rock? No,
Of course
ever.
not.
It's not. It's not condoned. Hitting technically should not be condoned. But
Of
when
course.
you're a person that are used to in certain situations, or when you're fed up, there's plenty of songs about when a woman's fed up. Women have torched. Come on, Angela Bassett. Or women love that. She that's destruction of property.
Right,
But
right,
because his actions, she felt like, oh, I'm right. I helped them get the money to pay for all this. I'm gonna set it on fire.
right, right.
Now
Yeah,
they would have been like, oh, he wrong for suing her. Technically,
yeah,
he's not. That's destruction of property.
absolutely. Yeah. And
Now
again, and it's the media that put that movie out, right?
it is,
Again.
man, and that's the point. And
So
it's a point of view. Yeah, you're
it's like
right.
the
We
same
pick
people
we
that
pick
will
and
give
choose.
we picking. That's exactly what I said. So
Ooh,
it boils down to that's what cancel culture is that we pick and choose what's
yeah.
right, what's wrong. When everything, if we're gonna want to be fair across the board, everybody gotta be
Like, yeah, I mean,
held
if
accountable.
we're gonna be that, yeah, like, and
You know what I'm
everyone's
saying?
mad, and everyone's mad. Will didn't leave. Chris Rock told him let him stay.
Yeah.
So if you want to be mad that Chris didn't leave, talk to Chris Rock. And then
Right.
Jim Carrey is, oh, I'm mad, and I'm mad that I'm sick that they applauded that man. They're not applauding the slap, Jim.
No, they're
They're
applauding
applauding
his
the work
work.
that man did. Now, a biggest thing is we have a hard time separating art from the individual. There's plenty of people that have done some real foul life.
And that are still
And
working.
we know about it. To be honest,
But
half of them we related to, but we
that's true.
still celebrate their wins.
That's true.
We still celebrate their wins. Why? Because we seen the work that they've
Okay.
done to get there. It doesn't
Right.
one mistake should not negate someone's lifespan of work.
Right. Did
Especially,
Harvey ever get prison?
they want to say that he's served. I don't believe he's in. If he's in prison, we know he's not in prison he's not in the prison that my kinfolk in. We know he's not.
And he's
His
not the
name
only
his name
Harvey
would be
in
Helena right
Hollywood.
now. His name would be
Right.
Helen. It wouldn't be no damn Harvey.
Right.
We know what, bro. We know what it is.
Yeah.
Yo, we
Pick and
gotta
choose.
quit bastardizing people for mistakes.
There we go.
Like, for
Because God
real.
forbid you make some. God
For
forbid
real.
you
Yo,
make them.
read a book. There's an author that I read often. This is a new book, Shaka Senghor.
Mm-hmm.
This man is a brother from Detroit. Um, he served 17 years on the inside, 7 in solitary. He spent that whole time reading and writing and really trying to better himself. And there's a lot of people who would not have given this man a job
Mm-hmm.
outside. And when you do people like, again, that leads into a whole nother uh, ideology of like prison reform in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that starts on our level in the sense of we got to stop damning people for mistakes.
Right.
Some mistakes I can agree, some
Of
people
course.
just will not accept. Murder, things happen. Some people do it
Mm-hmm.
in cold blood. In that situation, I get it if you give someone a life sentence. But there's people
Right.
who have been incarcerated for speeding tickets and then try to defend their life in lockup. And because they end up killing somebody, now has to serve real time. Why is
Yeah.
someone who's serving time for parking tickets in there with people who rape and murder people?
Right. Yeah.
That
I get yeah.
again, system we gotta fix. That's the government. We love to blame them for their unfair damnation, but we don't damn ourselves. We are causing more mental health instability by cancel culture. We are.
Of course.
You gotta
100%.
allow people room to grow. Bottom
That's it.
line, we won't be
Yeah.
better if our
We
peers and the people surrounding us lift us up in a sense of, I'm not saying hold my hand because I don't know y'all. But
Right.
if I mess up, give me an opportunity to redeem.
Right.
Give me a chance at redemption, because that's the human thing. And unfortunately, Black people, we love to bring up the Bible, but we the first one to damn and throw stones. We gotta be better.
Yeah. It definitely
For
starts with,
real.
and in our culture too, definitely we have to have more of a it's to come. I
For
think men
real.
and women, that the communication is just off.
And a lot of people, okay, let's say communication is off. Let's ride that. It's only off because we choose to pick and choose what we want to listen to and what's right for us. Case in point, what seemed good to you at 24 as the right thing, give it 20 years.
But our role models that we have, it
Right.
goes, we lift, we look at, like, I'm not saying to look at wheel of those public figures and hold them so high, and I've talked to a lot of people that are like, I looked at him like this. I'm like, you should never look at anyone that high up, only God, because we're flawed.
When someone messes up, the minute you damn them, I love this saying. My best friend says it all the time to anyone. He owns like multiple businesses, him and his wife. And he says it to me, and he says it to other people. And anytime you try to come down on anyone, being like, you're wrong, this is out of pocket, I think you deserve this. He says this thing often, and his dad says it, and I've heard it since I was a kid by older cats, because my dad wasn't around. So a lot of old heads used to tell me, keep living, especially like kids who don't have dads. Mom, my daddy ain't shit, da 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 this, and my mama said da da da, and all they say is keep living. Because
Yeah.
what we do is we feel like we know what's good for us because it's good right now.
Right.
What about long term? Like these decisions, y'all are making decisions because you upset or you're
Right.
disappointed in Will Smith
Yeah.
right now that
Right.
could cause him harm down the line. Now just imagine for a moment that you are Will Smith. What happens when you go to bed, when you wake up and you wake up and now you see all this money you built up over 35 years, you're losing it. For one mistake. One mistake. You think, and that it's a mistake. Nobody died. Some
Nope.
pride was hurt.
Nobody was raped.
Nobody was
You know what I'm
raped.
saying?
Nobody was murdered. Nobody was maimed. He slapped somebody, which is out of pocket.
Yeah.
But
It's definitely out of, yeah, for sure.
it is literally a mistake. And then
And it
Chris
goes,
Rock chose not to
mhm,
retaliate, which
right.
is the bigger move. And again, these are two men, damn near 60.
They don't think
Now,
like they were in their 20s like that. So they're not going to be like petty
right.
and say,
And
oh, get him arrested. He probably had to think about, okay, you know what?
right.
He's going through something.
And that's the point. When you see pictures of Denzel, Tyler, and Bradley talking to Will, tears in his eyes. Because a Black man can only get so high before you're now terrified that I have to be even more perfect, because the minute I make one mistake, I am
Pretty much. That's what we've
period.
seen through history of time.
Look, there's guys that have raped people. They have manipulated girls into a system of being passed down through the industry. Harvey Weinstein. There's the Andy Dick situation. There's Kevin Spacey.
There's so many.
Ain't none of them in jail. They didn't lose no
No,
Oscars. They didn't get kicked out. They didn't even get kicked out of the academy.
that part.
Someone said Harvey may have. So anyone who's watching, if you want a soundbite, don't do that, because I'm not positive. But as far as
Right.
I personally know, no one got kicked out of the academy. And I
What
think
about that guy that married his goddaughter or his
100%.
kid? What's his
Yeah.
name? He's still making films.
And he's still
But
making films.
still make films.
We
No one kicked him
condemn
out.
it.
No one said it's weird. But it goes back to even
Yeah.
the Me Too movement of when the women
Right.
came out in Hollywood. They had all the women wear black and says, we're gonna stand up against this act. No, 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 no. And Oprah comes up and she gives a really great speech. Great job. Everything was so beautiful that moment. And then it's like the next day you go back to the same men that that are doing it, and you're working with them. And it's like,
But you want
so
to cancel
you're a part of the
everybody
problem.
else. you're enabling. It's just like when you have a relative or somebody in NA or AA. You can sit here and be like, oh my God, you're wrong, but then turn around and you see them drinking and be like, that's an act of enabling. Like, you're letting them do it. And if you're gonna let them do it, you need to remove yourself. Because that's how you teach what you tolerate. You teach what you tolerate. Now, obviously, we're not tolerating anyone hitting anyone,
Absolutely. Absolutely not.
Especially at the Oscars, because it's literally the epitome of like excellence in our industry. In the film industry, that is the biggest show. Just like in London, it's the BAFTAs. It's not tolerated. Oh, speaking of, that's a reminder, in 30 minutes, if, you guys want to watch, Username drops at 6:00.
6:00. Yeah.
Right, 6:00 on Gold Piece Films. Check out link in the bio of Instagram. Yeah, go to YouTube, man.
Share it.
Yeah, subscribe, like it. We'll be putting out more.
Please.
I definitely look forward to working more with this beautiful sister. I look forward to it, man. My love.
Ditto. Thank you for coming on and talking. And this is episode 1. So thank you so much for coming on and talking and sharing.
If you ask, I'm gonna do it. Period.
Oh,
like these folks don't know. Like, we're talking about cancel culture, but if you don't know, I've known Miosha Bean since 2015, 16, maybe even 14. When was Tony Patterson? When was that? Yeah, that's an archive.
I want to say that's about that time. You're about right, I think.
Oh yeah, we're solid 8, 9 in. Like,
wow,
we're solid 8, 9 in, and on top of it being 8 or 9 years, we have consistently teamed up, worked together. There's things that you haven't even released because we haven't got a chance to finish them because we don't live in the same city. Me and Miosha, even Username, for instance, quick tidbit on that project. It was Miosha's birthday. We were hanging out, and it's like 2, 3 in the morning, and we were me, you, and Omar, my roommate, and we said, "Yo, let's shoot a project." And you were like, "I'm down. Let's go. We're in it." You know what I'm saying? We had a great night.
It was
party for you, celebrated you for your birthday, and I personally, I was a little bit saucy, and when I get saucy, I'm gonna create. Like, if I'm down to brainstorm when I'm saucy, because my mind's moving. So
I
was like, yo, I got an idea, let's run it. And Miosha was like, yeah, sure. All right, I'm down. We're up. Let's do it. Omar was like, yeah, I'm in too. He's sauced up. And like 2.5 hours, like 30 minutes later, I sketched up on like a napkin or something, like the story.
Yeah, it was wild.
And I was like, let's use this. Let's pan in here. And 30 minutes after that, we started shooting. Miosha was leading, and it was like a creative, fun moment that I personally cherish and will cherish. I mean, it's hard to be around people who ignite your creativity.
Yes.
And not just hear it. And like, we don't play each other off. Matter of fact, when you came to Atlanta, we shot 3 shorts. We shot 3 pieces.
Oh, I remember that time.
5 hours. And we was like, oh, let's go outside. Let's do this. All right.
Let's do this. Yeah, that's when I was in LA. Yeah, I remember that. That was fun.
You guys are going to see one of those as well. And it's like, it's always rare love. To find. Yeah, it's rare to find someone who, because you're so excited about what your creativity is, all they want to do is add. All they want to do is add, and they want to feed. Again, going back to what you said, only deal with people or imagery or books or topics that you consume on a daily basis. Food, literature, films that feed you. And, the only way to do that is, even when you make mistakes, man, they say like, all right, that's a mistake. Let's deal with it. Like on a film set. All right, that didn't work out. We can't do that
now again. We know.
now we know. We can't do that again. Let's move on and let's be better.
That's it.
And it's really like mistakes. I think that's the reason why me and you will always stay click tight, and
Oh,
why I enjoy your energy, your presence, your space so much,
oh,
and
me
why
too.
even by you inviting me on this show, why it was so easy, because I mean, I love you as a
I love you
person,
too.
spiritually, your energy, your creativity. I just love you as a person, and like I'm all, you know, you we've already talked about this. You know, I'm down anytime you want to link up. You were like, Drew, I'm going to
Definitely.
Germany, and I want to film
Let's
something.
go.
Like, give me dates. I would love to go. Do I got to
If
pay
we're
my
doing
own
that,
way?
I'll make sure I'll get your ticket.
Yeah, let's just make sure that it's a good
I
trip.
got
Like,
you.
let me help
Definitely.
you. She does the same for me, and it's rare to have that. And again, even when there's things that go wrong, like
Yeah.
COVID, and a lot
Mhm.
of things happen, and it shifted
Mhm.
our trajectories on not just being close. I had to leave LA, but just
Mhm.
in what you were doing individually, what I was doing
Yeah.
individually. And like the first thing you said to me, it was like, "You got this, babe." Like, you was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
like, you're gonna pull out. You just take your time, rebuild what you got to do."
And you did
And you
it.
know what I'm saying? It's a hiccup. It happens.
It
I
happened.
remember you said this, like, you literally was like, "It happens. You just got
Yeah.
to reevaluate. And once you figure it out, do that. Nothing else
And you
matters."
did it.
Yeah,
That's it. That's the
you
thing
did
is,
as well.
and thank you. Thank you. And I think it goes back to, like you said, within the industry. Like, if we make a mistake, I can be redeemed. I can fix that.
Yeah. If I
Anything.
make a
What if you
mistake, there,
fall and hit a pit stop in your
yeah,
life, you're reevaluate, because sometimes you need those lows to appreciate the highs. If you have too many highs, you're not going to ever appreciate anything or learn anything.
facts. With great power comes great responsibility.
Responsibility. That's it.
100%. That's not what we do. Everyone deserves a chance.
That's it.
Everyone does. I don't care who it is. Now,
Yep.
there's been time you'll smack and fight your brother and sister. That don't make you love them no less. You'll
Right.
go to war. You'll go to war for them still. I'm just asking that people, not just Will, not just Jada, not anybody, quit trying to cancel folks, bro, for one mistake.
Yes, I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying? Like, come on.
I,
All right.
I
So
absolutely.
with that being said, I'm done. I want y'all to know that I love y'all, because I know some of y'all probably talking shit about me now. But you know what? You know what I'm saying? You can't knock my mood off right now. I love
That's it.
y'all, and I love me, Ocean.
I love you.
And I want you to
Thank
take
you for
care of
coming on.
yourself.
I appreciate you coming
I
on.
I appreciate like hell you having me on. I feel honored.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
All
I
right.
appreciate, because I really like your perspective on cancel culture, and I think this is something that everyone needs to hear, it needs to be heard and shared. So thank you so much again, and also, guys, make sure you go to Gold Piece Films, subscribe, comment, like all those
Right.
things, and again, thank you guys for listening. Until next time, always remember to live, love, laugh. Bye, guys.